Well, hello, everybody. We're on time. We're starting early today. It's Monday, October 11th, 2021. And this is Ask the Doctor with Tustin Longevity Center. And I am Dr. Ella Thorpe, founder of Tustin Longevity Center with the Lord. And we are here trying to open ourselves up to the community in a general sense, not to give specific advice, but rather to approach how we would look at managing problems you might have with a integrative alternative medicine, and how we blend that with our standard medical school allopathic training. We have 5 clinicians here, and we're very busy. And hopefully this will be a method where you or family and friends can find to get some questions in, and hopefully I can be helpful in answering them. So with that, I'm going to stop maybe just short of 6:30. I have a lecture to do up in Orange, so I have to hop in the car. I've never driven there before. I'll be at Zito's Pizza restaurant talking to a group of informed or concerned citizens, and they have questions, and hopefully I can do the same for them there. Anyway, so let's start with, we have Ophelia. Hi, Ophelia, good to see you. After being in Dallas for the weekend conference at Steadfast, I'm experiencing a sore throat, and my back around my lung areas hurt. She goes on, I'm attributing this to allergies. She is taking ivermectin just in case. My doctor recommended a formula with a high amount of ascorbic acid, that's vitamin C, N-acetylcysteine, that's NAC, and all of the B vitamins. Is there anything else you would recommend? Well, vitamin D, you need to be on a goodly amount of vitamin D. Usually I have 5 to 10,000 on my patients. Some of them are on 15,000. And sometimes for the 1 week period of time or 5 days, we will give them a high dose vitamin D, 50,000, one a day for 5 days. So I would make sure that you're taking that, and zinc, Z-I-N-C, the mineral zinc. And I would probably look for a mineral chelate that's chelated with an amino acid like zinc picolinate or zinc, zinc glycinate. And these amino acid chelations, instead of anything that's called zinc oxide, that's just a pure metal and very little is absorbed. So amino acid chelated minerals are much, much better. I would aim for 40 or 50 milligrams a day. And then after you're better, you could drop down to 5 or 10 milligrams of zinc a day. So I think if you do those things, Ophelia, you'll do quite well. Drink plenty of water, get enough sleep. The more you eat a very light dinner, things like, chicken soup or chicken broth would be better, and allow your gut to work more on healing you. You could also get some Argentin 23, that's a hydrosol of silver. Over the counter, I think it's called Sovereign Silver, and gargle with that and swallow it 2 or 3 times a day. And you should do quite well, and stay connected with your physician if you have any problems. But you have a very good physician, apparently. So let's see. Amelia says, hi, Dr. E. Would you recommend consuming 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil daily for overall health? What is a good olive oil brand? Extra virgin olive oil in a dark container. I don't know the name brand, but extra virgin olive oil, usually foreign imports, like I think from Morocco or Italy, would be worth getting a high quality form of olive oil. Olive oil is a mono unsaturated fatty acid, and it's very satiating. It's very helpful if you're on a fast to get you kick-started in case you have some aggressive feeling of hunger. You could take a tablespoon or two to suppress your appetite. For cell health, really the essential fatty acids that we need are linoleic and alpha-linolenic acid. These you get from eating things like free-range prairie, wild-caught fish, meats, and the skin of the chicken, and nuts and seeds, and the yolk of the eggs. So I would say that's hopefully helpful for you. Amila also says, when is the best time to take serine supplements? Serine is an amino acid, so that would be an amino acid supplement. AM or PM, what is a good dose to start with? Well, I don't know if I know the dose right off the top of my head. I normally, for therapeutic purposes, when I'm prescribing a specific amino acid, am running in the ranges of 1,000 milligrams to 2,000 milligrams. So I would have to look up serine. I don't think I've ever individually prescribed serine. Serine is pretty abundant if you eat a decent amount of meat, fish, chicken, pork, eggs, and cheese, things like that. And so supplementation is usually not needed. If you're getting certain micronutrient tests like the CNA, clinical nutrient assay, and SpectraCell, they do an assay for the essential amino acids that we need, the 8. And I do see serines show up from time to time, but I usually see that in an older person. Very often I see it in blood type A's. And as we get older, and A-type blood people tend to have less competent digestion and breakdown of their protein into amino acids. Very often, just taking a digestive enzyme, if you're older, whenever you eat food, I started using it, even though I'm B positive, I started using a digestive enzyme maybe when I was 55, 58 years old. I found it really relieved things for me, and I wouldn't bloat and such. So I don't know that I agree when those reports come back where they'll say take so many hundred of milligram of serine twice a day, go find a supplement. I would rather see the person eat healthy food, free range foods, and do better digestion than to be buying supplements all the time. Hopefully that's a help to you. What is the best time to take it? I think everyone should try to start narrowing the hours in which we're eating, between noon and 6 p.m., so that our stomach has many more hours, 18 hours a day for healing. Therefore, I would say any time in that framework would be a fine time to take it. Let's see. She goes on to ask, when is the best time to take serine? Oh, we answered that. Here it is. What are your thoughts on zeolite supplement? Zeolite is volcanic ash, and this is a type of mineral entity that has a structure that is more of a cation, and cations attract. And no, it's more of an anion, excuse me, it's negative. All heavy metals are cations, they're positive. So lead is positive, mercury is positive, aluminum is positive. So if you have a net effect of a item that you're taking in, it will attract those heavy metals. I saw some people who have used it, and they were doing this to chelate out the oxidative damaging stress of heavy metal toxicities or exposure that are chronically developed over time. And I did not see a large impact. I haven't seen the company Zeolite do any significant studies. If they exist, I'm unaware of them, but I've been aware of zeolite for a long time. Whereas other companies, and most notably would be Juice Plus, there's 42 peer-reviewed studies from well-known universities worldwide. They have almost 4 million children enrolled in their health study. I mean, their data is solid. And I've heard that the Nobel Prize this year is going to go for the research on polyphenols and antioxidant aspect from the antioxidant micronutrients in our fruits and vegetables and berries. And they'll be referencing the work that so richly characterizes Juice Plus. So zeolite, I don't know that I have anything negative to say about it, but I don't know enough to say it can even approach what we do with chelation. I think everyone should have it in our 21st century industrialized world. Amila goes on to say, is fructose sensitivity something that can get better over time? I have more energy when I don't eat fruits. And the answer is yes. What I like to say is the chemistry and biochemistry physiology of fructose is a 5-member ring, whereas glucose is a 6-membered ring, hexagonal. You can think of glucose coming from starch, starchy foods. When you think of table sugar, which really isn't a food, it's a process product of the cane and other things. It is a combination, a dimer of glucose and fructose, and they're not equal. So glucose is 6, fructose is 5. And when they're broken apart, when you take it in, fructose is only metabolized by the liver. So anything that is exclusively really metabolized by the liver is considered a toxin because your liver handles detoxification. It puts a great strain on the liver. Our world is flooded with it, all this restaurant eating, fast food eating, soda pops, sugary drinks. So our impact of getting fructose is immense compared to 100 years ago. It's been estimated that 152 pounds a year is the average consumption per person in America of sugar. Now, someone's got my part because I never am nowhere near that. Now, that means half of 152 is about 76 pounds is fructose. The problem with the chemistry of fructose goes on in that it's an irreversible Maillard reaction where you can't get rid of it. It's stuck to the protein permanently. We don't have any way of getting rid of it. Whereas glucose is more superficially associated, and the day you stop lowering your starch, carbohydrates, and glucose, it will start dropping the very same day. So when I get a fructose reading on a patient, how much is sticking to their proteins, this could represent fruit sugars from a Coca-Cola or orange juice or some other source from 10 years ago. So it only very slowly goes down as the whole protein is broken down over time and reformed. So certainly within 7 years, if you work hard to be low in your fructose, you'll achieve it. But I wouldn't see any value in doing a fructose level, fructosamine, that's fructose sticking to your protein, except maybe once every 1 or 2 years. So that is the chemistry. You might even say that fructose is very much like alcohol, which is really just metabolized largely in the liver and damaging. And there's so many side biochemical damages. Uric acid for gout will go up. High blood pressure will go up. Triglycerides will go up. Inflammation in the liver will go up. You'll get a scarred liver. So we're seeing non-alcoholic fatty liver disease like we've never seen before, even in children. They almost look like they're alcoholics. So parents have to be informed. It is not a funny thing to let the children have all these processed snack foods and juices and apple juice and sodas, this is going to harm them in a very long way. All right, let's see. Amila goes on to say, thank you for sharing your knowledge. You're so welcome. This is fun for me too with us. I look forward to your sessions because I learn something new every time. God bless. Thank you very much, Amila. I want to always try and be a benefit. Sean says, I'm taking a SARS-CoV-2 semi-quantitative antibody IgG/IgM test. Some experts say the virus has never been isolated and cultured. If true, is it possible to accurately test for antibodies? Well, that's the $64,000 question, Sean. I know that there are about 9 lawsuits that have been won worldwide. I know one in Canada. I know one for sure in Portugal. Another one just recently in Spain, and some others elsewhere, where the people who have been challenged either, I guess, to take care of a loved one or get the vaccine or something like that, they have been brought to court, or maybe over quarantining, and they've demanded to say, if this is being questioned over SARS-CoV-2, where is the culture, who has it, and how can we culture for this? So they've won their lawsuits because they have not been able to produce a culture reference of the entity we call SARS-CoV-2. I find that interesting. The other thing is, if SARS-CoV-2 is as dangerous as some allege and is a bioweapon, then I don't know that it should be cultured or handled by routine laboratory personnel and cultured unless they are a level 3 or level 4 lab safety. So there's a lot of questions here, and I understand your point. Law cases are being given. I was just reading a case of law today. This is a attorney general from the state of Washington, and this is a series of documents from a group of healthcare providers that are pushing for stopping the phase 3 clinical trials of COVID-19. And going through this, there's quite a few pages. As you can see, this is thick. So the things I'm trying to keep up on for you folks is not a small thing. But one of the things I thought was interesting and is highlighted, the FDA also recognizes the inherent inaccuracy of the RT-PCR tests in its letter issued February 4th, 2020, authorizing emergency use of the CDC 2019 novel coronavirus, renamed SARS-CoV-2, real-time reverse transcriptase diagnostic panel. The FDA specifically stated that the test panel is for the presumptive qualitative detection of nucleic acid from the 2019 COVID in upper and lower respiratory specimens. In addition to false negative results, these PCR kit tests under EUA also generate false positive test results. For example, 77 positive SARS-CoV-2 test results on a group of football players all turned out to be false positives on repeat testing. I'm sure you've heard of people who have done 3 tests, 1 positive, 1 negative, or 2 negative, and 1 positive. And then remember those presidents of some of these African countries tested a sheep, I guess, and a pomegranate or some fruit, and they came up positive for COVID. So we're hearing all these things. It certainly doesn't help our confidence index, does it? Finally, the FDA has officially alerted clinical laboratory staff and healthcare providers of an increased risk of false positive results with some of these commercial test kits permitted to be used under EUA. So there's just too much to read to you. So there are many legal cases out there. I know of many, like, who was that? Reiner Fulvik, Fuelrich, Fuelrich. He's doing an international lawsuit using many laudable immunologists, virologists over some of the, restriction of freedoms. And who else? There's Mr. Rentz out of, I think, Cincinnati, Ohio, is taking on quite a few cases. So I understand, Sean, your question. I'm taking the test. Has it been cultured? My understanding is no. Is it possible to be accurate? Well, if you read the fine print on those results, it will tell you on every one of those PCR tests and antibodies, both of them, that it isn't a absolute diagnosis. And by the way, Carrie Mullis never said that you should use PCR tests for diagnosis. It was a lab test for quantitative work, not diagnostic. Diagnostic. All right, so hopefully that answers your question, Shaw, or we don't have the answer. It is a dilemma that needs to be answered. SR said, had testing done that revealed low hydrochloric acid and gastroparesis. That means the person's stomach acid is low and the stomach is not moving well. Food sits in my stomach for hours. I have betaine hydrochloric acid with pepsin, but what can I do for the gastroparesis? You might need more minerals. People who usually have low stomach acid over time don't absorb or aren't able to digest their food well enough to get the minerals. So if you took a very high quality multi-mineral, I have the TLC multi-mins and I use Albion for the amino acid chelates. And if you did maybe the standard dose is 3 capsules a day. Maybe if you used 6 capsules a day for 2 weeks, you drank enough water, half your weight as pounds in ounces of water every day, and you started doing a regular walk and you kept your carbohydrates very low, because very often diabetes generates gastroparesis as well. You might find that helpful, as well as you could take OptiMag Neuro, that's a powdered of a amino acid chelate magnesium, and a scoop of vitamin C powdered, and put it into water and drink it down 2, 3, 4 times a day. And you should see motility start. That's what we do here. And of course, follow up with your doctor and your gastroenterologist and use your digestive enzyme. I use betaine hydrochloric acid in a item called Ortho Digest, and it's got many, I have 30 years, 40 years of experience with it. Orthomolecular, the company is excellent, high quality, moral. I've been out there, I've looked at their labs and assays. We also use Spectrazyme by Metagenics, and they have betaine hydrochloric acid, I believe in it, as well as many good digestive enzymes. And then probiotics. You might find if you take a higher fiber diet, like I have the doctor's nutrition bar, 15 grams of fiber full of phospholipids that helps heal the lining of your 1 cell thick gastrointestinal system. And it has 15 grams of protein and only 4 net carbs. You would find that with all those things you're doing, you'll have volume, you'll have water, good hydration, you'll have the minerals to jumpstart some of the neurochemical signaling. You'll have the probiotics is what I wanted to get to. There's Ganodine probiotics, 2.5 billion in it. These spore form probiotics are wonderful, but I'm actually taking Orthospore IG 2 a day. I'm taking Orthobiotic 2 a day, and I am taking another over-the-counter one. I'm using one of Dr. Grundy's. I'm checking it out. So I'm on 3 different probiotics. I probably eat 1 high fiber to 2 high fiber bars a day. I drink the water. I take the walk. I take the minerals. I'm not using the OptiMag powder and vitamin C lately, and the regularity and the bulk and the ease of passage is very, very good. So hopefully those are some good ideas for you on that. Let's see. That was gastroparesis. Let me find that. I lost my point here. Oh, here it is. That was SR. Okay, SR, hopefully that helped you. Christina says, the doctor's bar has 14 grams of total fat with 3 grams of saturated fat. No other fat is listed. Could you explain what is the other 11 grams of fat that is unlisted? Yeah, those are phospholipids. It is so full of phospholipids. These are the very fats, phospholipids that make up this, and I designed it that way because these are fats that we're not getting enough in our diet. So hopefully that helps you. We're using sunflower phospholipids, and there are fatty acids, linoleic, alpha-linolenic acid, and some other monounsaturated fats in that as well. Debbie says, hello, Dr. Rita. Hi to you. Is there any supplement or herb that helps cancel out some of the carbs you eat within a day? Thank you for all your great information. Yes, I would say if you needed to help with some of carbs, it would be eating higher fiber. The more fiber in your daily diet, the less you're going to have absorption of the carbs. If you take a tablespoon or 2 of olive oil right after eating some carbs, that will slow the absorption of it. The other thing is alpha-lipoic acid, berberine, vanadium, chromium. All these work to help burn carbohydrates. We created a product called TLC Metabolic Formula that has all that in there. And if you take this, if there's a day like when you're eating more carbs, then that would be smart to do for a few days. I use it regularly. My last fasting blood sugar was 59, and but that was after my 5-day fast. I would say otherwise I'm probably in the 70s. Nevertheless, I would say those things would be a good way, Debbie, to help you. Dolphin says, my husband got the jab and me and our dog are having major symptoms. Any ideas? I think we've talked about that many times, Dolphin. The EDTA chelation IVs, and you know, these IVs, you can come in as a walk-in. We give a lower dose, but it's available to the public. We give a EDTA chelation at 0.75 grams, which is 750 milligrams. We give the vitamin C at 12.5 grams, and all of these are very valuable in detoxification. EDTA has been suggested because of its anionic negative nature. It attracts the net positive spike protein to pull it out. Taking enzymes, systemic enzymes, prevents microcirculation problems. Drinking enough water prevents microcirculation problems. Eating a low-carb diet prevents microcirculation, clotting, and inflammation. Exercise on a routine like 30 30 to 60 minutes 5 times a week does that. Getting a good night's sleep, 7 hours, aim for trying to get to bed in the early, a bit earlier, between 9 and 10 p.m. and getting up at 5 a.m. So whatever time you cut off in the evening because you're socialized to flip lights on and watch YouTubes and whatever, that light is damaging to the pineal for restfulness and sleep, and your healing and your growth hormones all come out in the early evening. So if you want to stay younger, live longer, healthier, have a better immune system, you need to try to go to bed earlier and get up earlier. All those things will help, Delphi, and God bless you. Dolphin says, the volume is very weak, hard to hear. Are any of you having that problem? Let me know as well. Christina, daily stretching beneficial. Absolutely, because the immune system is your white blood cells, and they do marginate along the inside lining of the blood vessels a lot. If you stretch, if you walk, if you drink enough water, you will help your immune system pumping around these surveillance immune cells and their cytokines that they emit for sensitization of your body. And stretching will do that as well and pull that tendon and those fascial packages. It's like having cling wrap around your muscle bundles all throughout your body. Everything has cling wrap except your esophagus. That's why so often people will get heartburn when it burps up into the esophagus from the your throat to the stomach junction there, right at your diaphragm. Since there's no control fascial sheath there, the acid there can irritate inflammation, even your heart that's touching it, and that can make your heart skip and beat and be hippity-hoppity, you might say, from inflammation. So yes, stretching, aerobic, moderate exercise, all these things are most valuable, but you got to drink the water to help move the white blood cells around, your immune surveillance cells, and signaling molecules around. Okay, let's see, how do I say this? Rad, okay? Sky Rad 55, okay. Topical treatments are abundant for toenail fungus. Do you recommend any, or would you treat it with a antifungal supplement? In general, if your toes are becoming fungal, I have a great concern that your average blood sugar and your insulin becoming metabolic syndrome-like is a risk from the standard poor diet of Americans. And this suppresses the immune system, and the toes are often covered in shoes and dark and moist, and that is a warm, sugary petri dish to grow fungi in. So I usually work on the lifestyle of my patients first. I don't mind if they use these herbal concoctions that have caprylic acid and olive leaf extract and topical things like that. That's fine. I also find that if they put Argentine silver on it, which is a powerful antifungal, antibacterial, and antiviral, that helps. But also the microcirculation. Any cell in your body it is serving you, your bones, your structure, your hair, your nails, with tiny capillaries, and those capillaries can get so easily clogged by eating a donut. And the immune sugar hit suppression will last for 5 hours. So you have to think about your carbohydrate, your exercise, your water, little Pacman enzymes to try and clean this out, and EDTA chelation, and then usually everything is fine. I don't like using oral antifungal agents for your body unless you've done all these things, and I can, with testing, prove a healthy blood sugar, a low insulin, a low triglyceride, a low hemoglobin A1C, and then if all those are good, then and you've been taking your enzymes, and you're not eating late at night, you're doing some exercise, you're drinking your water, then I would consider EDTA chelation, and then I would finally talk about considering oral antifungal agents. Okay, and let's see, what do we have next? Maxine says, hi, Dr. Rita, can herbal tea count as part of your daily water? I'm sorry, Maxine, it doesn't. You have to understand that water is designed to be clear so that it can take on solutes. And there is a chemistry dynamic that when so much solute gets in, eventually it'll start precipitating to the body, to the bottom. When you've saturated the dissolving capacity of water. Once you've reached that capacity, that water in your tea or whatever you're drinking has no value in bringing hydration, taking on other debris and stuff, and dissolving it to carry it away. So you have to understand the function of water is to help solubilize and dissolve your waste materials in your body. And then after you've had your adequate amount of water, then you can have your tea or your coffee. So I have my little game. For every one of these, I get one of my coffees. So you got to play some rules, you got to put some restrictions on yourself. But I wish it were true, but it's not. Sorry. And then Christina said, my children are on Juice Plus. Wonderful. And take Flora Boost probiotics from Orthomolecular. That's wonderful. Is there a trustworthy children's multivitamin company that you would recommend? I like Orthomolecular's, what is it called? Super Newts. And this is a multivitamin mineral that we have here for our children. It's the only one I've tested as a multivitamin, so I can endorse it. As far as others, I'm sure there are other products out there that are good. I just don't have clinical testing on them to be able to endorse them, but it's called Super Newts. If you called Tustin Longevity Center Vitamin Shop, they could send that out to you, I think. And then let's see what else. So it looks like that we are at the end here. I hope this is still going. So I'm going to say, please, PLEAS, please write me something so I know that the live stream is still working. Can somebody go ahead and do that? So I'm going to wait a minute and see if that, but it looks like maybe something ended here. So what I'm going to do is, it doesn't look like there's any new questions. So I'm going to go ahead and end this because I have to get to that lecture, and I will go ahead and be on my way, and I will see you Wednesday at 9:45 and next Monday at 6 o'clock in the evening. Okay, bye-bye. God bless.